the type of title defense that the Super Falcons of Nigeria would want to have at the ongoing 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations right there in Morocco. Of course, they went down 2-1 to the Banyana of South Africa. So congratulations to the Banyana of South Africa. And of course, for the first time, talking about Desiree Ellis, she has made history. She became the first South African national team coach to defeat Nigeria 3 times. Very good one. And of course, we'll be looking at CAF. Of course, CAF, they have increased the prize money for this year's winner. Of course, the total overall package for every team participating in this event. Of course, they've increased the take-home money for every team participating in the ongoing tournament in Morocco. And of course, Randy Waldrum, the coach of the Super Falcons, has been talking. And of course, Desiree Ellis also, they've been talking since after that game that ended 2-1 in favor of South Africa. So we'll be looking about all of those on today's show. And of course, we have something for you right from Ghana. I remember the under-17 women national team of Ghana. I remember that game against Morocco. Of course, they won 2-0 at home, went to Morocco. Of course, they lost 2-0, making 2-2. And of course, in the penalty shootout, they capitulated and they lost. And now, Morocco took their case to FIFA, and CAF, they have found out that Ghana actually, some members of that team falsified their age. And of course, they've been thrown out and they've been fined heavily. We'll be looking at all of those on Nigeria Super Fans Forum today. My name is Olafemi Ashaolu, and Kayode Ogundare is around. Kayode, you know, we've talked about this ongoing tournament in Morocco, and of course the preparation, and but it seems South Africa they have that code for the women's national team, particularly Desiree Ellis. Last year they came to Nigeria, the Aisha Buhari's Cup. Of course they won, and we thought it's because we didn't have the full complement of the team. But now again, the Super Falcons put in a very spineless defense of their title. Well, it's still the first game. We can't click on the panic button yet, but I think it's a huge statement from the South Africans.
Well, I don't know where that came from. That the performance of the Super Falcons was not spineless. It was just that they played a better team, and I mean better in all aspects of the game. Every blade of grass on the pitch that night had the superior thinking and the faster, more aggressive players. So deservedly the better team, the best team on the day. If there is something like the best team among two teams.
That is why I said it was spineless, because when you look at even the quality of players, we have Aziza Doshola, we have Rachida Jajaj.
It's not about being spineless, it's about coming up against a better team. No matter how much you try, the South Africans were better. It's not as if Nigerians came and we were strolling. The same performance that Nigeria put up against South Africa, they will do the same level of this team against other teams, and they will win comfortably. It shows that, like I told you on the last program, Femi, I said the pace at which the South Africans had developed over the last couple of years, Nigeria have not. Despite the loss, we still like a pace or two ahead of the South Africans. But on the day, it is who turns out, who comes to the party that matters most. On that day, the South Africans were the better team by a mile. You needed to see the stats at the end of the first half, even though scores were 0-0. They were miles ahead of Nigeria. If the game had ended 0-0 at the end of 90 minutes, and points are to be awarded for effort, the South Africans will still have won this. It showed that they have gotten enough for the effort they have put into the game. And like I said, as I've seen in all the games I've watched so far at this competition, the gap between the big teams and the so-called smaller teams has shrunk. It has closed to the point where the games are so close. Say, if you take apart the game between Tunisia and Togo. Which exposed the naivety of the
others have been very close.
And even Togolese, there were spots of brightness that you could look at and say, you know what, in a few years, these guys will also pick up and will see a balance of power. That balance of power is what we are seeing now. It's a shame Ghana are not here. They would have provided more opposition. The Cameroonians will do that. I was so pleasantly surprised against Zambia. The Ivorians are not here. I was surprised at the performance of the Zambians. Senegal I saw the power play, I saw the energy, I saw everything. I was like, are you sure? Wait a minute, are you sure these are women playing? So for me, I'm so much happy with the level of football I've seen so far at this tournament, and I think it's something we should just keep up.
Okay, Kade, perhaps I didn't use the right adjective,
Okay.
but what I meant was we expected the Super Falcons to turn up better. You know you are playing a powerhouse in African women football, and you know the rivalry between yourself and South Africa. So why come up with? There was no creativity in that team. I don't know if you actually saw. They lack creativity. Even going forward, even Zarelli said that we knew it was going to happen. We knew they were going to make errors in the defense, and we forced them to play long ball. And with long ball, how much can you? That was what he said at the end of.
What I see, for me, from my own little knowledge of football, is that Nigeria thrive on using space. We are good when we are able to express ourselves. At the beginning, in the first 10-15 minutes, the Nigerians knocked the ball around. Then the South Africans, quick thinkers, they edged us in. They did not allow that depth.
Space, yeah.
They did not allow that space. They did not allow you time on the ball. So that now frustrated the Nigerians. It left Oshoala a lone figure up front. And what can you do when you are alone up front? So that space that they did not have to express themselves was what the South Africans capitalized on to get the goals. Of course, when you are choked in, you make mistakes.
Of course.
Before the first goal, I was telling somebody who was watching with me, I said, you know what, the player that has impressed me the most in the Nigerian side was actually Plumtree. But unfortunately,
of Leicester City.
Yeah, of Leicester City. Unfortunately, she was the direct cause of the first goal. She was everywhere until she was caged. And you have to give something to the South African coach. She's a thinking person. She understood the mentality of the Nigerian
And I think
team.
she's been around for a while. So
that also helped. That's also helped. Now she has bested Randy Waldon twice on back-to-back now. Let's see what happens the next time they meet, because let me not kid you, these teams will still meet again in this competition.
The prophet has spoken. Let's look at World Drum.
Okay.
He said that we can't panic at this period. We still have 2 group games and we have to improve. We will analyze and review individual players' performance and make the right decisions in the next game. After that game, even before that game, Azizat was taken out because of injury scare. Now, a lot of Nigerians came for Azizat Oshoala on the social media, and they said the last time she played for, someone said the last time Azizat played for Nigeria, as far as is concerned, was 2019. And they said there is a gap, this is a huge gulf between a performance for Nigeria and for Barcelona currently.
I think some people are they just have holes in their heads. I do not like this kind of comparisons. It's very, very false and doesn't even have any modicum of sense. Because when you say a player plays well for his club or her club,
because she trended, even as the game was going on, she was already trending on Twitter.
Because that's the preconceived notion in the heads of those who are selling that story, that narrative. Femi, when you say she plays well for her club, she doesn't play well for the national team. Do you play the same players in the club size with the ones she plays with in the national team? No. The same thing people said about Messi, don't forget, that he plays well for Barcelona, he doesn't play well for Argentina. But you have to ask yourself, who are the players he plays with in Barcelona, she plays with in Barcelona, and players she plays with in the national team? Fine, these are players she has come to understand. But there was a general, how do I say this? A lack of I don't want to say energy. They had energy, but it was generally poor by the standard of South Africans. Yeah. So you cannot I hate singling out players. Individual. It's a team game. When you fall, you all fall down. Fine, you will say, this person did well, but when the team doesn't win, everybody doesn't win. Like I said, I've talked about Plum Chana, that she did very well in my estimation. Rashida Tajibade did very well in my estimation. But Azizat did not do too well by her own standards. Then the other lady who was up front.
That's why people got disappointed.
Yeah, I understand their disappointment. It is legit. But when you now say she plays well, she plays better when she's with Barcelona, she doesn't do as well when she plays with Nigeria. It's not something I want.
So the complaints are not genuine?
No, they are not. You see, Femi, you can criticize our performance for Nigeria, but do not bring that comparison. That comparative analysis is flawed. Don't say she does better in Barcelona. If you play the same players in Barcelona and in Nigeria, then you can compare. But if you do not, okay, are you telling me that that Barcelona and the Super Falcons will play, and you don't even know the outcome of the game before they play.
Super Falcons will win.
Amen.
Wakari, let's talk about foreign coaches. We had Thomas Denebi and Randy Waldon. What is it with foreign coaches not doing well with the Super Falcons in 2 minutes?
I am not sure it's about the foreign coaches. It's about the system that brings the foreign coaches, not the foreign coaches themselves. These same foreign coaches will go elsewhere and do well. One, then two, the foreign coaches that you're talking about, what is the antecedent? Where did they come from? What have they done in their previous life? That's how you measure coaches. Fine, a coach is as good as his last game. But when you bring up people simply because of the color of their skin, I hate doing that lens. But that's the truth. These guys got these jobs because they are white. We need white coaches. I remember in 2002, a Sami Okodu came back from the US to handle the team. He won the AFCON, but because they said the team didn't play spectacular football, he was let go. And even at that time, there was a wide gap between Nigeria and the rest of Africa. That gap is no longer there now. So the job is much more difficult now. But like I said, you have to look at antecedents of coaches that you bring into the team, not just because of the color of their skin.
Okay, Kari, let's talk about the South Africa, the Zambian lady. I'm talking about Barbara Banda that was banned from the competition because of high level of testosterone. I saw that lady play at the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo, and I almost asked, is this really a woman? Because she really looked like a man. But it was unfortunate for the Zambians that she's been suspended or banned totally from the competition because of high level of testosterone.
Yeah.
But the Zambians, they still gave a good account of themselves against Cameroon.
It shows that they are a team that they are better than.
And she's even the captain of the team.
They show that they have something other, apart from their captain. One. Then secondly, it's so unfortunate. It is not the fault of the player. But then it will be unfair on the competition if you allow her to play.
But that doesn't imply that she's a woman.
But see, she is a woman. We have had that kind of issue in Nigeria before. There was a certain player, I think in the 1990s, Yabo Abade, who, for whatever reason, they said she had these same excuses. And one, then two, they said she was even an hermaphrodite. She had the male and the female organs. Okay. So people felt it was wrong to have her in competition. She even tried her hands at athletics, but her first love was football. She couldn't get to play football at that level. She was a national team player, but she had to drop. Only God knows where she is now. So for me, these things will continue to happen. As long as it happens, there's a standard, there's a method that is used. If you have this level of testosterone, you cannot play for the female team. Go and try your luck with the male, even though you have female organs. That's standard. These rules were not made yesterday. It was not made because of Zambia alone. Let's be fair on CAF and FIFA. These are rules that were made before. It is blind to anybody. So if the rules say you cannot play if you have this, then you cannot play. Even if the player is a Nigerian, you can't.
Okay, Kade, before we go on a break, I think CAF on Sunday, the executive committee met and they resolved a whole lot of issues regarding African football. And of course, the prize money for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations has been increased by almost 150% from almost something $1,000 now to $1.5 million. But Kade, I think you still have a long way to go, but it's a good step in the right direction.
In a world where everybody is screaming equality, it is little, but it is better than nothing. I think we are going to get there. Off camera, we were having the discussion before we came on set, and you were saying there's a gap between the male and the female football. Yeah, I agree there's a gap, but then you should not be prejudiced against the female teams, because Femi have been a lover of the women game since I think 1991 or thereabout. I've seen a lot of progress, tremendous progress in the years between 1991 and now. That's like a 30-year cycle. I've seen us come from beating people black and blue, beating people 19-0 to 15-0 to struggling to win 2-1. For me, it's a victory for football. So as long as there's development, we should also develop with it. We should also grow with those developments. What we need to do is put the right policies in place. Make sure that at the point it's already happening in tennis. If it is, why not? Why can't it happen in football too? If the women's game can attract the kind of attention it is attracting now, and it's sure going to attract more as time goes on. It just depends on the level. Of course,
the level is also rising.
Yeah,
the quality of play is rising, like we've seen in this tournament so far.
In fact, in Europe and South America, even on a higher level. And one other thing I think we should talk about is the number of players, African players, who are already playing in Europe and China and elsewhere. For me, it's growing. Now,
like this Barbara Banda, she plays in China.
A lot of players.
Shangli.
I think the Nigerian team has only 2 players from the local league. They
play abroad.
They play abroad. So also for a lot of other teams like that. The Tunisian number 9 plays in Turkey. As a matter of fact, she's the highest goal scorer in Turkey. Femi, you need to watch the lady. You'll be surprised. She scored a very intelligent goal against Togo. Very, very intelligent. And there are pockets of players like that all over the country. I've seen practically all the games, Femi. I think I'm watching too much football anyway. I see. So I think the players are representing. At the point we get to that parity where we have to pay them as much as we pay the men.
Okay, like I think the US and the Dutch national team, of course, they've set it now, equal pay for the men and the women national team. Before we go on this way, let's quickly give you the score so far, the results so far in the ongoing 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Of course, it's no longer news. Nigeria won, South Africa 2, Burundi defeat. Of course, they lost at home to debutant Botswana 4-2. Kadi, did you see that coming?
Honestly, no. And you know why I said no? They at the point they were up, then the Burundians came back, scored, and everybody was thinking there was going to be the scores were going to be tied at 2-2. Then the Botswana, they went up and scored again. Then they scored another one to make it 4-1. So for me, that's the hallmark of a good team. They may come up short against more established teams like Nigeria and South Africa, but they have shown that in this their own lower level. They get levels.
After reading out the scores, Kayode, I will tell you the teams that I'm tripping for already.
Okay.
This tournament. Senegal 2, of course, Uganda 0, Cameroon is 0, Zambia 0. That was another unexpected result. Tunisia, of course, defeated Togo 4-1. Then Morocco, of course, in the opening game, they defeated Burkina Faso 1-0. Kayode, I'm tripping for North African teams, Morocco and Tunisia, and I'm very happy that finally that glass ceiling has been broken. You know everything regarding tradition, religion. You know, women were not allowed to play football. With the country saying that it is not good for men to go and see women open their labs and all that. But I think we are beginning to see a change of the narrative currently.
Yeah, Femi, to be honest with you, I agree with you 100% because as much as I have observed the growth of the game in other parts of Africa, it is the Northern Africans that we should really look at, that they have broken the glass barrier now. And I just wondered, watching the Tunisians, I said, so this is what we would have missed if they did not allow women football. So for me, I'm very happy. Like I said, you know, even before the competition, I've always talked about the Moroccans.
How they've been improving.
How they've improved tremendously. The same I can say now for the Tunisians.
I think Egypt want to come out now. Algeria want to come out as well.
That's the point. And that's where I think the more the merrier. Already, West Africa is still the leading sub-region.
Of course, we are the champion every time.
But the others are not sleeping. They are coming up fast and furious. You're going to see, in this competition, I foresee a final four of Nigeria, Cameroon, Morocco, and one of either Tunisia or Senegal.
You see included Nigeria with what we saw against South Africa?
Yes, I will, because as much as it is good to start the competition with a win in your first game, if you do not, what you need to do is take stock, look at what you have missed, where you have gone wrong. And I am happy that this is coming against South Africa now.
Not at the crucial stage in the competition.
Exactly. So now, if the South Africans go ahead to beat us again, if we meet at any level, at any stage of this competition, then we know that we have to go and offer sacrifice to the South African gods on the Baba. You understand? Because once it's an incident, twice and winch.
Okay, we told you earlier about the Ghana under-17 women's national team that have been banned for 2 editions because of allegation. Not even allegation, I think. Still allegation, but it seems the GFA they've admitted that they committed that error, of course, of falsifying age of 2 players, and they've been fined $100,000. And the GFA has decided not to appeal that ban. We'll be back to tell you. And of course, we're talking about Ashanti Gold, Deputy CEO in Ghana. He went on the radio to grant an interview, and after that, he came out to say, and the interview was particularly about mentioning other individuals in the Ghana Premier League whom he thought were also involved in match fixing. Remember that Ashanti Gold had been relegated because of issues regarding match fixing. And he came out, he mentioned a whole lot of names, and later he released a statement saying that he had retracted everything he said in that interview, and he claimed that he was even unwell. Yeah, you heard that he was even unwell when he made those allegations. We're back to discuss all of this. It is very, very sickening. We'll be back to talk about that. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's still Nigeria Super Fans Forum. I hope you're following the ongoing African Women Cup of Nations right there in Morocco, especially for our Ghanaians. I know the Black Queens are not there, but of course you can always follow the tournament to know what is going on. Remember, don't forget to indicate where you are reaching us from by sending us a comment. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share our videos. Like we've always been saying, if there's any issue that you want us to talk about regarding African football, you can bring it to our attention. Of course, you will be rest assured that we'll give it attention right here. Kyle, let's talk about this issue in Ghana. Ashanti Gold. Remember, we talked a whole lot about during the season about the color being relegated to the Division 1. And of course, the deputy CEO, Albert Kome, he came out to make a whole lot of allegations regarding other individuals who he thought were involved in match fixing. And after then, he came out to say, I'm sorry, I have been unwell for months, and that was why I made those statements.
Pen, what do you want me to say? Somebody said A is bigger than B. Now he comes back to say, sorry, I said that in the state of the area. I wasn't feeling too well when I said it. So in the court of law, once you retract what you have said.
Do people say what they don't mean when they are sick?
Sometimes when you have a fever. When you have fever.
It's funny because he said, maybe I should read part of the statement. He said, I have come to the realization that the interview I granted to an FM station in Sunyani recently has generated a lot of controversy among the football fraternity, especially the clubs whose names I mentioned in the said interview. Let me come down to what he said. He said, I wish to render an unqualified apology to the clubs whose name I mentioned in the interview, and to say that I did not intend to tarnish their image or bring them to public ridicule. I also apologize unreservedly to the Ghana Football Association for making such unpleasant comments, and hereby retract anything I said in the interview. I must admit that I have been unwell for the past 3 months and should have declined the interview because I was not in the right frame of mind to make dispassionate comments, which I am known for.
I think that the last paragraph was an overkill. You should just have just said that, okay, you apologize, you knew this. I guess probably he was threatened with a lawsuit, because some of these things you cannot prove in court that they did this X, Y, Z. But
by the virtue of his position, we know he wouldn't just come out and begin to mention names of clubs or individuals that never had anything
but he has done it, Femi. The fact is, he has done it, and they have him on tape that you said this, okay, if you do not retract, we are going to sue you or whatever. And he retracted.
But the part that is sickening for me is when he said he has been unwell for the past months.
Because he has been unwell.
How? Where are we really
because going? He has been unwell now. What do you want him to say? No, Femi, no joking now. The truth is, some of these things you have to be careful. You have to be measured in what you say, especially if you occupy a public office where you can be held to account. If you are going to say something like that, he should have backed it up with facts, because he knew he did not have the facts. That was why it was easy for him to just retract. That I'm sorry I said so. I'm sorry I said so.
I feel it's the case of birds of the same feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together.
No, it's not.
Because these people, it is like a clique. We all know what we do together.
Femi, I do not agree with you. If that were, then you should be able to prove. If you are alleged, you have to prove. Because he does not have the proof. So
these people are a cabal, Kayode.
It is not. Femi, do not let us beat around this issue. If you are going to say, for example, now, you can say, if you say, we are all thieves now, even if you have seen me stealing something before, Femi, because you don't have proof, verifiable evidence, you cannot say it publicly, or else I'll sue you. That's what has happened now.
You sue me, we do shows together.
It doesn't matter, I will do it alone. Or I'll have the producer come join me. But the truth is, if you do not have proof, do not allege. So even though they know what he's saying is right, Femi, in his heart and in their heart, they know what he's saying is right. But because he doesn't have proof that can stand up in a court of law, he has to eat the humble pie and retract. That's what happened.
Okay, let's talk about, still talking about Ghana, the under-17 women national team.
Yeah.
They've been fined $100,000 dollars, I meant to say, because, of course, Morocco protested. Morocco won that side, of course, but they protested that Nancy Amwa and Rashida Shahadu lied about their birth dates and are over the age of 17. This is rare, it's ugly yet again. And the GFA decided not to appeal that by Kayode.
Probably because they know that they do not have a case, that is an open and short case.
They know they are over 40.
Yeah, they do not, and probably sometimes when you refuse to appeal, it is because you do not want a can of worms to be opened. It's better to just do damage control. You know, let us not protest, let us not appeal this case. Because if you appeal, the other side might be forced to bring out much more damning evidence. So it's better to just let this go. But now they have to pay a fine and they are banned for the next 2 editions.
Of course.
That for me is the sad part, because it means a generation of players will be denied out of the.
We should think about the repercussions before we do some of these
things. That
things.
Is the point. People rarely do that. And it's so unfortunate. So for me, it's going to deny 2 generations of players now the opportunity to play at the highest level for their country. And most of those players may never get to make it in football, because playing for the national team, playing at competitions, there's a way it projects you to the outside world. That is not going to happen for them, and it's so unfortunate, but it's the reality that we have to deal with.
Okay, Kayode, I think I don't know if, I think for them there should be something like the MRI, because I don't know if the MRI actually really detects age. I know it has to do with the bone, because I remember they talked about the very strenuous processes that they undertook before they went to the under-17 WAFCON in Ghana. He said even players that he and his assistant coaches thought were beyond 17, or that these people cannot even make the squad, MRI put them in. He said, and they have between 1 to 5, but the NFF made sure that the boys must be within the age of 1 to 4, because the rule for CAF is that if one player is overage, the rest of the team will be thrown out of the tournament. Yes. I think that such should be said for the under 17 women too.
I agree with you, but let me quickly talk about the MRI. See, as it is today, there's no machine, there's no technology that can determine your age, right to the month and the date and the year. What the MRI can do is test for bone, and there's a band that this player will be between this age and this age. So if you fall within that age group, then you are free. So that's why you look at some players and say, why would this pass the MRI and this person will not pass? That's what happens. Then Nduka Ubade will know this, because he has been part of the Golden Eagles before. He has seen some of their players, even then the rules were not this harsh.
Stringent.
The stringent then that they had players being disqualified. Wilfred Ndidi, who plays at Leicester now, was disqualified in 2013. It was supposed to be a part, 2013, it was supposed to be a part of the under-17 team, but because he failed the MRI, Nduka now said, okay, maybe he now introduced him to the under-15, under-20 coach. So he made that team and went with them to, I think it's Korea or Turkey or wherever, I can't remember now. So that is no longer possible now. Once one person fails, the whole team is thrown out. And I think CAF is doing that so that it can help federations to curb this age cheat. That you know that when you know that even if you put one player, all of your team will be disqualified. Everybody will be very, very careful. Everybody. So, and I agree that it is time that they bring this to the women game too. Let's see this. Let's clean our game of the dirty antics.
Okay, Kayode, I know we've discussed this issue, but let's talk about CAF moving the 2023 AFCON to 2024 now, but no longer in the summer, but now in January, February. We are back to this tussle between clubs, European clubs releasing African players for the tournament in Kayode.
Yeah, it's normal. Who pays the piper dictates the tune. The European clubs are the ones who develop our players, who pay them the huge sums of money that translates to the development of the game back home. So they deserve to have a say. If you say if the summer is not good for us because of the weather, then January they have considered that January. So once you are signing an African player, you know that there is the possibility. You know, it's a catch-22 situation. If you sign an African player, you know that there is the possibility that if he does well with you, there is the possibility that he will go away in January for the Nations Cup. Then, if you want to sign a player and he's not a national team player or a prospect, you will not want to sign him too. Yet, if you sign him, you know that there's a possibility that he will leave for the AFCON.
If his country is qualified.
Yes. So it's a catch-22 thing. Is it about you want a quality player who is national team material? Yes, you have him. But then you know that once the country calls him to come and play at the AFCON, he has to go in January, which is a very difficult time for most clubs because by then you know where you are heading to at the end of the season. So for me, I think this is settled. Everybody agrees.
But you know, we talked about trying to find a balance for this situation where the European season, clubs will not have to miss the key players for them. And of course, avoiding the situation where, at that point in time, it will be wahala. Like we said, the local balance in Nigeria. That's the problem between club releasing players and, of course, the national team. Remember what even happened to some of our players? William Trusekong, he returned to his club after the tournament, of course, for Ola, and they lost their.
That's the risk that everybody involved is going to bear. You have to bear some part of the risk. The fact is, there's no easy way out of this. The clubs, and we have seen now that CAF is also hamstrung, that they cannot do this competition outside the European season. They cannot do it in summer, in the European summer. European summer is the peak of our own rainy season. So, and you cannot play football now in the rainy season. So it has to be January, February. So the clubs have also come to understand that the players have to go. And it's a FIFA sanctioned competition, so you cannot even hold the players.
I was even going to say that, but we saw last year that even some clubs still did not want to release their players.
You want me to shock you, Femi? That are the hands of those players. The clubs will not have any right. What FIFA says is they can release the.
But remember what happened in Emmanuel Dennis.
That's what I'm saying.
Remember what happened in Emmanuel Dennis.
That's what I'm saying.
He almost spilled it out to say that it was one that if you go for this tournament, you pay for it.
I do not agree, Femi. But there are some things we should just keep away. What I'm saying is, every club is obliged to release a player at least 14 days to that competition.
But we saw that even some players were released a week to that competition.
Even though the law is black and white, but then there are some things that you discuss over a glass of wine. That, you know what, we understand that this player, we have to release him, but can you allow us, for so and so reason, have him for a few extra days more? If the club and the national team too, wanting a good relationship between them and the clubs, because it will affect the player adversely, they will agree, okay, you can keep him for those extra days. But if the country insists that the player must come, he definitely must come. But in the case of Emmanuel Dennis, Femi, let's keep that aside.
Okay, Kayode, before we leave this issue, I remember you and I we've discussed this issue before.
Okay.
And you said it will not be advisable if the outcome will still take place in January next year. Okay. Knowing that the World Cup will hold in November.
Yes.
But let's think about it. The World Cup has been scheduled for a long time now, including the time that is to be played. But the people, CAF committee or CAF competition committee, I don't know, whatever, who fixed 2020 June, July 2023 for the tournament, didn't they know that it was going to be the peak of rainy season in Cameroon, in Cote d'Ivoire?
What I'm not supposed to say.
I understand your argument, Kyle, but what I'm saying is, was it their CAF didn't think it through?
They just wanted to have minimum disruptions, because the longer they shift the competition, the more disruptions it will be on the calendar. So that was why they decided to put it then. But then common sense prevailed.
That's what I'm saying.
Because Femi, if we have 2-3 games called off because of rain, everybody will lose interest in the games, and we have games being played on soggy pitches. Nobody will be interested. In fact, a bad advertisement for African football. Nobody will want to see it. You know, so I think this has been the best decision, and there's nothing wrong in admitting that you were wrong. They were wrong. They knew it. They were wrong. They knew it, and they have tried to readjust now. That's why they are fixing it.
It's because Patrice Motsepe is trying to fix things now, because he said he made a lot of stuff on ground.
We thank God for him. We thank God for him, but the truth is they've made a mistake. Now they've realized it and they're trying to make corrections.
I know you've enjoyed the show today, but of course, keep your comments coming wherever you are reaching us from around the world. Please indicate where you are reaching. And of course, I hope you've gotten your copy of the making of Nigeria's Dream Team put together by our own Dr. Mumini Alao. Like we said, you can get it on Amazon, and of course, if you're in Nigeria, on Jumia. And if you want autographed copy, of course, we can make that arrangement for you. About the ongoing African Women Cup of Nations, what do you think with the style of play, the standard of play? Do you think it has improved over time? Let's get your feedback regarding that. Kado Gundari, thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Of course, the Super Falcons will be playing again on Thursday, and we hope that, of course, they will make amends like Randy Wardrum. I almost said Thomas Denedi. Like Randy Wardrum promised us. And for Osisa Toshuala, we hope that, of course, it will be good news because he said doctors will access her to see the level of that knee damage. We hope the Super Falcons, of course, they will begin the proper defense of their title. Remember, they are gunning for the 10th title. So we hope they will make that happen for Nigerians. And this is where we'll be drawing the curtain on the show today. Remember, subscribe to our channel, keep the comments coming. Whatever issue regarding football you want us to talk about, please let us know and we'll do justice to it right here. Until next time, I remain Oluwafemi Ashaolu. I say have a fantastic time for yourself. Bye for now.